In 1971, Nixon declared a war on cancer, which meant that they were going to allocate $1.5 billion in a 3-year period. Okay, moving forward, according to the Cancer Society report in 2024, they estimated 611,720 cancer deaths would be projected for 2024. So that's approximately 1,680 people dying each day. Amazing. But what if the key to fighting cancer wasn't just in chemotherapy, radiation, and surgeries? What if the answer or the solution, because you know I'm all about solutions, is about nature itself? Well, we are fortunate that today in the classroom we have Sylvie Beljanski. We're going to dive deeper into the research that they do in their foundation, the Beljanski Foundation, which the book that she wrote is called Winning the War on Cancer. And I'm so excited and delighted that we're going to be talking about how do we unlock nature's power to fight cancer and cancer stem cells. So make sure you get your paper, your pen, because we're going to learn and grow together.
And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
Hi, my name is Lily McDermott, and I'm a certified life coach, a certified holistic cancer coach, and the host of the Lily McDermott radio show, Classroom. If this is your first time in the classroom, please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide natural ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the Beljanski Foundation has been around for a long time. But as of last year, I've been hearing about it a lot. And I had the privilege of meeting Sylvie Beljanski at the Annie Appleseed Conference just not long ago in 2025. And so I'm so excited that we're going to be able to talk about her father, her father's work and his story and what caused her to carry on this baton to continue his legacy. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am so grateful that Sylvie Beljanski is here to do just that. Welcome to the classroom. I'm so honored that you're here.
Hello, Lillian. Thank you for having me today.
Yes, yes. So I was very fortunate. I just started listening to Sylvie Beljanski. Sylvie, you got to listen to her story. You've got to, and there you were at this conference, and I was just like so excited. And I am as excited today to have you share your story, and so we can start dipping our toe into the research that your father started many, many years ago. So share a little bit about your background and what led you to take that baton and carry your father's legacy.
Well, thank you. Thank you again for this opportunity. Indeed, when you were speaking of the rising number of cancers, and it is not enough to say that the official war on cancer has wasted a lot of federal dollars, federal taxpayers'
Yeah.
money on a war that is going nowhere. But they have also, and this is worldwide, not just, it has happened in
Mhm.
America, but
Mhm.
pharmaceutical companies are global, and it is the same thing happening all over around the world. When there is something natural, something different, something they don't own, especially if it's not something chemical that they can patent, there is a war on those natural solutions. And that's exactly what happened to my father. He was a PhD in molecular biology. He was working at the Pasteur Institute in Paris, which is the French equivalent of NIH. So he was really at the center of what is appropriate, conventional, official research. But then he got an idea. He said, there is something else going on than just mutations. Mutations back in the 60s, just right after the discovery of the DNA by Watson and Crick, it was a big thing. Everybody was looking at the genetic code as a solution to everything. And my father said, yes, of course. There can be genetic mutations, but there is something else, something that triggers those mutations. And he looked at the environment as a cause with all the carcinogens that were already in our environment in the 60s, 70s. It was big time, actually, for pollution. And he looked also at nature as solutions. He said if nature came up with carcinogens, nature also came up with anti-carcinogens. And he divided a test to find natural compounds that will specifically recognize cancer cells, recognize the DNA of cancer cells, and inhibit the growth of those cells without touching healthy cells. This is called selectivity of action. And this translates in real life into no toxicity, no side effect to healthy cells. You take the plant extract. If you have cancerous cells, it will go invade those cancerous cells, destroy them. So it's called inducing apoptosis of those cancerous cells. If you don't have cancerous cells, you will eliminate naturally just by peeing the product in a matter of hours without toxicity. So now we have a product that works on men, on women, and wherever the cancer is located. My father got, the interest of a lot of French doctors. Back now we are in the 80s, and he became quite famous with the doctors community because they had a kind of sure thing working again and again without toxicity and also working in synergy with chemotherapies and radiotherapy. So they didn't have to force the patient to make a difficult choice. And my father became so famous that he was actually asked to help former President François Mitterrand with his prostate cancer. And for my father was not at all a political animal, but a prostate was a prostate. A patient in need was a patient in need. So he started to help François Mitterrand. And Mitterrand, very publicly, of course, because he was a president, started to get better and better. And against all odds, he was able to finish his second term. So that really enraged, infuriated a number of political, powerful people who lost the opportunity of early elections, but also it was sending a strong message to pharmaceutical companies that something natural could do better, something they did not own. And that did not sit well with them. So as soon as Mitterrand finally passed away, they sent an army, the SWAT team, with machine guns and dogs to destroy the laboratory, to destroy all this research. And in the process, they also radiated my father, told him to stay in a specific room, and they sent some toxic gas, and 2 months later, he started to have acute myeloid leukemia. So that, what happened, my approach to the war on cancer, it was really seeing something that was working, being destroyed by the French government. And I was a lawyer. I'm the produce of 5 generations of scientists. I thought I would never get into science. I said, the curse has to stop somewhere, stops here. I am going to law school. I am not going to get involved into science. But the more I was digging into the legal file to help my parents, the more I realized that it was not about something wrong that they had done. It was really about destroying something before it could get confirmed by other people or being adopted by other people in a large scale. And maybe because, I've been to law school and became a lawyer because I want to, doing the right thing is important to me.
Mhm.
I said, I'm not going to allow that over my dead body. I'm going to fight this French government. So I took the French government to the European Court of Human Rights. We won an unanimous decision because it was an easy one. They did not care about defending themselves. They
Mhm.
would rather do not explain and being condemned than give me an explanation and shed some light on what was their intent and
Mhm.
what they wanted to destroy. But really quickly, I understood that the legal approach was very limited in what I could get in court. And that's why I decided to start this non-for-profit organization here in New York called the Beljanski Foundation and start partnerships with academic institutions to get this scientific confirmation that they claimed did not exist at the time where they destroyed my father and his laboratory. So that's what we have been able to do for over the past 20 years. And I have to say that those little plant extracts have been like the gift that keeps giving. More beautiful publications, more new results that go beyond that what my father could test in the 80s and 90s with now cancer stem cells. Nobody was speaking about cancer stem cells back in the 90s. Now it is a hot new thing, and we have beautiful results. So I'm very, very proud with what the foundation is doing, and I am speaking as much as I can about those results.
Well, not only are you speaking as much as you can about the results, you're doing more than that. You've got an event in Texas, in Austin, Texas, on April 25th, 27th, 2025. I just wanted to share this for those of you who are interested in attending. You can go to the website, and we'll give the website. It's beljanski.org. And if you are a subscriber to the classroom, then you know that you just have to click on Sylvie's name and it'll take you straight there. So when I heard the story of your father, um, I was curious how they handled your father after irradiating him before he went to prison. And once he got cancer, what was his treatment of him in jail, especially after he helped so many people? I just want people to
Yeah.
understand that
So,
this was cruel.
so my father deteriorated very fast, and he was not sent to jail. He was sent to stay at home under
Okay.
house arrest. And his products were no longer available because they had taken away everything. So his life work was not available to him at the time he needed to help for his own treatment. So he had to go with the conventional therapy. That was the only thing available. And of course, it did not work. But he deteriorated, I have to say, pretty fast. Nevertheless, when I told him that I am going to do my best to continue, that gave him some kind of blush of energy. And for several months, he was able to get better well enough to explain to me a lot of things over the phone, through faxes, and as much as he could. And then I was able to send him the first samples of the plant extract. Dad, I'm going to make the products. Hang on. And I sent him the first samples, and he was testing, and he was said, no, it is too acidic, to this, to that, from his kitchen. I mean, he was used to do with very little credit, laboratory credits. And so from the kitchen, he tested. And then at some point, he said, you know how to do it. Don't change anything. You will be fine. And then a few weeks later, he passed.
Oh, it's so sad. When I said in jail, I mean what I meant to say is that it was a form of attack on him, and it put him in a place where he could not do what he needed to do because they destroyed his laboratory, they destroyed all his research. And I can't imagine what that did for emotional trauma for him. As
Absolutely. Absolutely, that's really precipitated him between the the gas, the toxic gas, which I never found uh, evidence of the toxic gas in the legal file. This is secret defense. I have several eyewitnesses, but nothing in the legal file about. But he got sick very quickly, and then the harassment was terrible. The the judge did never give him a day in court. They knew he was dying, and they just dragged the case until he passed.
Well, and good for you to take on your father's legacy, and how wonderful that he was able to share, because that was one of my questions. If they destroyed everything and they destroyed the lab, the fact that he remembered to tell you and to share with you the products that he was using and is just quite remarkable.
Yeah, and I got my mom who had been working with my dad in the laboratory. She was not a PhD, but was working side by side with him for almost 40 years. And I got her a green card and got her to come to New York. And she was also extremely helpful in passing the torch.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. It's a great story, but the sad part is that you all had to go through this so that, especially I love how you decided you were not going to be in the medical industry. You became a lawyer, and that becoming a lawyer was exactly what your dad needed to vindicate him, to be able to pursue it and sue France for this. So it's a beautiful story, but it doesn't end there. And this is what I want to talk about, the research that you've been able to partner up with other organizations to move forward with the research that your father, the idea that your father had. So share a little bit more about some of the steps that you took other than, getting to this place where you are at today.
So first, the first thing I wanted to do is to confirm that indeed some little plant extracts that my father had discovered were able to address different kind of cancer. And what my father did not have really was a mechanism of action. So we worked with Columbia University on prostate cancer. Dr. Aaron Katz, who at the time was the head of holistic urology at Columbia University, was very excited because, well, it was the treatment that François Mitterrand had taken. So in the world of urology, I mean, that was something exciting. Indeed, Dr. Katz confirmed the possibility of those products to destroy cancer cells. He showed also that they have an anti-inflammatory benefit and that it was also working in synergy with chemotherapies like docetaxel, which is given for prostate cancer. And then he was speaking, Dr. Katz one day was speaking about his results. I was seated next to a lady who told me, he's speaking about your products, right? And I said, yes, absolutely. He said, it would be so good to have something similar for ladies. And I said, yes, of course we do. The same thing, because it's not specific to organ or gender. It works wherever there is cancer cells. So she said, could we use that for ovarian cancer? I said, yes. And then she looks at me, and what about pancreatic cancer? Because that's a biggie. And I said, yes. And that's how we started to work with Kansas University Medical Center on ovarian and pancreatic cancer. And we worked in vitro and then confirmed in mice that indeed, again, we had the mechanism, it was working on cancer cells. We have a nice synergy with those chemotherapies that are given for ovarian and pancreatic cancer, gemcitabine and carboplatin. There is no toxicity for healthy cells. And then they saw something which which was very interesting with their mice, no metastasis. No metastasis. That's interesting. And about that time, because the products have been available, as I told you, from since the 80s in France, and I continue to make them available, of course. I had a little lady who came to me. I was giving a lecture. She came to me. She said, "Do you recognize me?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, but can you tell me again the story?" She said, "I gave you a testimonial 20 years ago when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I went through my chemotherapy while using all of your products. And my testimonial at the time was that I had no side effects, no burns, no nausea, and I really sailed through my chemotherapy. And now I want to give you an update. This is 20 years later, I'm still doing well, never had the cancer, came back, and I was, okay, never cancer came back. So let's look at something that my father never was able to study because nobody was speaking about that back in the 90s. It's cancer stem cells. Cancer stem cells are those embryonic cancerous cells that are resistant to chemotherapy, are able to stay in the body and to create a relapse or a metastasis. At some point, they wake up and they start a new cancer. And I believe the worst thing you can hear after you have cancer is cancer came back after you have done through everything, lost your hair, everything, and then you hear it's coming back. I mean, that's absolutely terrible. And I thought, well, use little plant extracts. Let's try to see if they are able to address cancer stem cells. And they do.
That's great. And they do. I love when you said, she asked me, can we work with women? And you said, yes. Can we do pancreatic? Can we do ovarian? Yes. And after you said yes, did you sit there and go, oh, I hope I'm right? Or did you know you were right?
Well, there are so many people at the time of my father who were helped with so many different kind of cancer that I basically knew that we were going to be able to provide. At the time of my father's funerals, so many people came to me and said, without your dad, I would not be here. I would not have seen my grandchildren grow. I would not have been able to walk my daughter down the aisle. All those things. And they were suffering. They had been suffering from different kind of cancer, and they were all doing well.
Yeah.
So I knew that, again, the proof is in the pudding. And so indeed, those little plant extracts are helping people suffering from different kind of cancer, and it's working and working again. But there is something I want to say. The people who are thriving are those who are doing more than taking the little pills. I don't want those little pills to be considered like silver bullet.
Correct.
I keep saying those plant extracts are going to work at the cellular level. And by doing so, they are going to give you time. The big question is, what are you doing with this time? And it is absolutely essential to try to understand why you got sick in the first place. If you don't address the cause, you are not going to fully arrive to the solution. You have to understand, and very often, I mean, there is a physical toxicity of our environment, and we have to understand where are the bad habits, where we get efficacious on a daily basis, but there is also the emotional toxicity,
Yeah.
which is very, very important. And there are sometimes relationships which are toxic, or people who are with us, or people who are not with us anymore, who have passed, and we do not, we are not able to come to peace with the fact that they are no longer with us, or something. But it is well known and well documented that it is not the emotional problem that is creating the disease. It is the way we respond to the problem.
Good, good.
And it is therefore up to us to understand and change our attitude and live in peace and harmony.
It's interesting because last year I decided I was going to step up my coaching to a different level. Although I'm a certified life coach, I always thought that many people that come to me have disease, some form of disease. And I just thought, with becancer.org, which we share that in common as a cancer coach, a holistic cancer coach. I felt that when I was learning about it, it was taking me back to when I was first becoming a certified life coach, which we know how trauma plays a big role in the body. But and I believe it is my strength to help people see the beauty in the trauma so that they can leave that behind and start focusing on, because when we look at emotional trauma, that's like 95% of the root cause. It's like unraveling that and figuring it out. But only 5% maybe be attributed to DNA, maybe attributed to other things. But we spend most of our time 95% in the 5%, when we could really use every tool that we've been given. But here's the thing. Had it not met you, I would have not known about your products. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this class with you is so that people understand that there are other things that people can do. Because some people say, I don't want to deal with the emotional trauma. I want to focus on my physical body. I want to eat well. I want to, stress less and do all. And that's all important. And I love the key fact that you say, it isn't all about the little pill. It's not about the little pill because there's a lot of different things that we can do as well. So let's talk about these little pills and the herbs that, because I want to say it, and I don't know if I'm going to say it properly. It's Pao Pereira, and
Pao,
then
Pao Pereira coming from Africa. Pao Pereira is coming from South America, from the Amazon rainforest, and there is Rauwolfia vomitoria coming from Africa, and there is a golden leaf extract of ginkgo biloba. Ginkgo biloba, it is the same tree, but the leaves are harvested only when they turn yellow, and of course, the change of color is a reflection of the change of chemistry. So we are extracting different alkaloids that you find everywhere in green ginkgo extracts that are largely available. So all those plant extracts have different mechanism of action, which Pao Pereira has anti-cancer properties and also antiviral properties, which is very, very important because number of viruses can trigger cancer. Rauwolfia vomitoria has anti-cancer properties, but very similar to Pao Pereira, anti-inflammation, apoptosis, modulation of NF-kappa B, inhibition, regulation of interleukin 6. There is upregulation of gene P53, which is about limiting the growth of the tumor. So a lot of good things that those two plant extracts share. Rauwolfia vomitoria is also helpful with hormonal balance, can be helpful with problem of fertility and problems of menopause. And then you have these ginkgo extracts that helps with skin fibrosis that can result from radiation. And also the recent research conducted at Kansas University Medical Center has shown that this ginkgo extract helps with inhibiting angiogenesis. Angiogenin is the hormone that help cancers to create a new generation of blood vessels, and they need those blood vessels to feed themselves because they need a lot of energy to divide, and also to spread to other organs. So we are cutting this hormone and in a way starving cancer cells. So different mechanism of action, but a lot of multiple mechanism for anti-cancer benefit. And then there is another little marvel that my father perfected. It's a little RNA fragments made of E. coli K12.
RNA fragments of E. coli.
K12, yes. So don't freak out about E. coli. I'm speaking here of E. coli K12, which is known to be non-mutagenic, non-pathogenic, and we are removing all the protein of the E. coli. We only keep the RNAs, which is highly purified and is chopped after that in little pieces. And those little pieces are exactly the food that your bone marrow needs to create a new generation of white blood cells and platelets. Naturally, what happens in the intestine when you digest, the food breaks down, goes down to the colon, to the gut, breaks down, and the nutrients are absorbed. They are absorbed, they go to the blood brings them to the bone marrow, and the bone marrow does its job it's supposed to do, which is to create those cells which are paramount to our immune system. But sometimes you are tired, your gut is not functioning, you have a leaky gut, or you are undergoing chemotherapy, which is destroying a lot of blood cells and also damaging the lining of the gut. So the system doesn't work anymore, and you can get, as a secondary effect of chemotherapy, a loss of platelets and white blood cells. It's called the loss of platelets, which are the cells that are needed for the blood to clot, is called thrombocytopenia. And we were able to have a clinical trial a few years ago at Cancer Treatment Centers of America for people who were suffering from different kinds of cancer, were already well into their treatment of chemotherapies, and their number of platelets was very low. They were technically at the verge of thrombocytopenia. They were expected to develop thrombocytopenia. And when you get thrombocytopenia, the doctor has to stop the treatment. He cannot continue to give you the chemotherapy. You are bleeding everywhere, you have hemorrhage. It's a very bad, very bad situation. So different cancer, different chemotherapies, all the people who enrolled in the clinical trial, none of them developed thrombocytopenia. And we saw their bone marrow being kind of protected. At the end of the treatment, their bone marrow was in better shape than at the beginning, despite the fact that they have had several rounds of chemotherapy in addition. So this, of course, is published. It's available on the website of the foundation, like everything I am talking about today. It's all the publications are available on the website of the foundation. We do this research and we want to share the research in order to empower people with this knowledge.
This is good. I've got so many questions for you. But before I ask your questions, I want to acknowledge my sponsors and the people that have been in the classroom to support us. And then we'll continue and I'll ask my questions because this is so important that we don't just go out and do whatever we think we need to do. We need to be, I just got so many questions to ask. But for now, I just want to encourage you to go to whenyouneedafriend.com. This is where we become informed. This is where we make decisions with informed once we're informed with the choices that we can make. And so this is what I love, that I've been able to have the privilege to sit with such wonderful minds to share this information. So please go to whenyouneedafriend.com, become a subscriber. That way you know all the information for Sylvie Beljanski and the other people that have been in the classroom to share such wonderful, empowering information. While you're there, please like and follow me on the social media and share this class, share this class with everybody. Who doesn't know someone who has either died or has cancer at this moment that could benefit from this information? So this is how you can do your fair share, by sharing, by making comments, because the more comments you make, the less the algorithms can hurt us. So please know this, that, even though there are like the censorship has changed according to what social media is saying, I have not seen the benefit of it because this information is still being suppressed. So please do your part to get it out there. Also support my sponsors, the way that they're supporting the classroom. There are so many different ways that you can be connected to the classroom. You can go through my Shop Now bag, and these are all Lilly approved products. And I don't know, maybe we can start looking at this as being an approved product. I'm currently taking this particular brand right now, but it's too soon for me, and I'm going to ask some questions about this to Sylvie as well. And so while you're there, please check out all these Lilly approved products from head to toe, from beauty to pain management. There's a lot of different things that you can choose from. I also have two events that I want to share with you. We have the Rewiring the Brain with Neurofeedback Training 2.0 with Dr. John Silva. That's going to be a worldwide virtual webinar, and that's on April 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you cannot attend, that's fine. We are recording the event and we'll send it to you. If you get your seat in, there's going to be, you just click on the link below or go to the website at whenyouneedafriend.com, and you'll be able to just sign up and register and get your free, not your free seat, but your seat at $20 off. So you get a discount because I love a good discount. Okay, so then the second thing I've got on November 1st, we have the I Am the Solution. It'll be our third annual I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit. But this time we're going to focus on cancer and autoimmune disease. So please mark your calendar because the information is coming soon so that you can be in the front row at the conference, at the summit. Last but not least, you can become an enrolled student in the classroom, whether it's $1 or $1,000 donation of your time, your talent, your treasure, a one-time donation, reoccurring. It's up to you. We're so grateful for all of you who are so generous. Even if it's $1, that dollar makes a difference. So thank you for giving and giving generously. Today we have Sylvie Beljanski in the conference that I've heard so much about and had the privilege of meeting just recently in West Palm Beach, the conference there at the Annie Appleseed Conference. What an honor to especially just losing my dad in September of last year, to be able to carry the legacy of your father is such an honor within itself, but to be able to take it to the next level is divine. So I know your father is with you through every step that you're taking. So I want to encourage all of you to go to beljanski.org. Again, the information is in the blog. You can just click on it and you can just see the information. You can see the information. Also, we're going to put the links below in the description. And last, if you're interested in any of these products, you can go to masonbeljanski.com. That's where the products are. the foundation, Beljanski Foundation, is beljanski.org. That's where you get all the research, and then you can make an informed choice to whether or not you would like to purchase any of these products. Did I say that correctly? Can you elaborate a little bit more?
It's perfect, absolutely. I mean, want to keep things separate. The Beljanski Foundation has a mission, which is to carry on the work of my father and go beyond that, as you said so well, with modern science, modern techniques, continue to investigate the benefits of those little products who have shown to be able to work on different kind of cancer, different stages of cancer, alone and in synergy with chemotherapies. And we want also to make the products, I mean, you cannot do this research out of thin air, so you have to have products to study, and the products are available through Maison Beljanski. Maison means house in French, and it's a little actually townhouse in the middle of Manhattan, and that's where we are operating from. There is a little store. It's written Maison Beljanski. My father was so mistreated by the official media and by the French government that having this dimension of respectability, the forefront with the Maison Beljanski written on the wall and a store where people can walk it was something very important to me, and I'm pleased to have been able to achieve that.
No, well, so is everybody who has worked with you as well. And so some of the questions I had, and I'm so grateful that you're here because you could be anywhere else, but you chose to be here today. One of the products I came to you and I said, although I don't have cancer, well, at least, everybody has some cancer in their blood, in their system, but it's not to that place where I've been diagnosed, but I have been diagnosed with Epstein-Barr reoccurrence. And for the last year, I've tried different things and nothing works. Supplements, rest, cutting down my schedule, not being on social media, not promoting as much. And it just seems like it's gotten worse. So I came to you and I said, what do you recommend? And you handed this to me. Now, there's some question that I have, which is you can take up to 10 pills, and it says do not exceed these 10 pills.
Yeah,
And so I
that's
started with 4, then I went up to 5. So share a little bit about how do you take your product and how do you see the benefits? How does people see the benefit?
so for people who have, acute cancer, it's yes, so it's up to 10 a day. We have to write something legally about the number of pills that we have to put something on
Yes.
the label. However, I've known people who have taken 17, 20 pills a day and nothing happened because, again, the toxicity is almost non-existent. Um, that means I do not think that there is a need to take that many. I don't think that more is always better. It looks like the sweet spot for acute situation is one capsule per 30 pounds of body weight, and that's good enough. Uh,
Can you say that again? It's one capsule per
one
30
capsule per
pounds?
30 pounds of body weight.
One capsule, one pill per 30 pounds of body weight. Okay.
Yes, that's uh, that said, if you do not have, cancer, you or again need less than that to get the benefits. So generally, for most people, 3 capsules a day are enough. If you are actually fighting a virus, you want to go to 4, 5 a day, and you will do well. You should do well in generally in within a month. You should be see
Yeah.
the you
Yeah.
should you should see the difference. I have had myself Epstein-Barr, and my parents, my father gave me this product when I was going through that. It was long ago. I was still a student in law school when I got that.
Yeah.
And I really believe that it is thanks to this product that I did not lose my academic year. I was able to take all the exams and
Because
graduate.
it's exhausting. It is
It
exhausting
is
at
exhausting.
times.
It
So
so
you go ahead, go ahead.
in my case, the Epstein Barr is still detected when
Yeah,
anytime I do
yeah.
a blood test because it doesn't completely disappear. But uh, I am not
Active.
extremely, it's not active. It's the
Right.
kind of dormant and at a very low level. Unless there is a blood test, you never know. And I know that the same thing is similar with a number of other viruses.
Because they lead to cancer. They can lead to
They
cancer.
can lead you to cancer, and especially we know a lot of cases of herpes and papillomaviruses that are known to lead really to cancer, and we have very, very good results with the Pao Pereira, which have been reported to us.
And so is there any side effects? Let's say you take this in the morning, and I know you take it with a full glass of water.
Yes. So it's better to spread during the day, the capsule, so the product remains in the blood all the time. But it has antiviral and anti-cancer benefits that have been both studied and documented. The Pao Pereira was actually the product that you are holding in your hand was actually the subject of a clinical trial in France in the 80s, at the beginning of the AIDS virus, when there was nothing else to fight HIV, which was blossoming, unfortunately, around the world. And my father was approached by somebody who had been contaminated by he was a beach coach guard, and he was contaminated by trying to help save somebody who was drowning on the beach. And he had family. He was a father of four, and he had this AIDS virus which was exploding, and there was nothing at the time to help him. And he came to my father and said, "What are you giving to your? I've heard that you have something for some publication." And my father said, "I can't give you anything. It's only been tested on mice. I can." Well, I'm bigger, of course, than your mice. The guy was like 200 pounds. But let's calculate how much you give to your mice. I want to take the same thing. And he very quickly, all his symptoms of full-blown HIV disappeared, and he went on to live a very comfortable life for 23 more years.
Wow, wow. And back then, they were giving them medication that was killing them too.
That came
So,
later on. He did not take those medications because it was at the very beginning. But my father said, well, if you take the medication, AZT, it's going to be difficult to work with that product because the damage done by AZT cannot be reversed. This is completely different with chemotherapy, where you can see synergy. The synergy between the two has been documented.
amazing, amazing. So one of the reasons I'm bringing this up is that, we're talking about cancer and stem cell and how it affects the stem cell as well. But you don't have to have cancer to take this product. Do you have to have something like a virus or some form of condition, like if when people have fibromyalgia or they have
So
rheumatoid arthritis or something to that effect?
rheumatoid, yes, because it has also an anti-inflammatory benefit, it will help with all the underlying approach reasons of all the disease linked to inflammation and a lot of autoimmune disease. It's something that has been observed. I mean, I know, remember a gentleman who came for his prostate cancer, and then he said, "Well, my my knees are better also. My prostate is perfect. I don't wake up at night anymore, but my knees also are better." And that's something we have heard again and again.
I don't know if this is just coincidental, but it's truly anecdotal that I started taking prior to me taking the POW VFM, which is what I just started taking. I've been having some gastric like bloating and like just feeling uncomfortable. And since I started taking it, I have not had that situation. I have not felt that. So I don't know how quickly it starts working on the body. I don't know if there's a like it works different into everybody else's body because everybody's response is different. What is your advice, or you can't give advice? So what is your what have you seen of people if they decide that they want to try this, whether or not they have a virus or not? Is this something that just goes through their body, or will it affect them in any way, like cause insomnia or diarrhea or anything like that?
No, 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 nothing like that has been reported. It seems to be all good.
All good.
All good. I have to say that the Pao Pereira has been used for centuries in South America and in indigenous tribes. My father perfected a specific extract, but it has been used against malaria, against vast array of tropical fevers for a very, very long time. They
Mm,
know what they are doing. They have the indigenous sense of what is good.
yes. And are there any contraindication of taking, because this is not your only product that you have beauty products, you have perfume, you have, I mean, so many different things. I wasn't able to try all of it, but you have other things. What is is there anyone who should not use these products, like children? Have you seen
No.
any limitation?
No, no. Children who go to school and get, are subjected to some viruses. We are speaking a lot about measles nowadays.
Mhm.
I mean, this is a perfect, and you don't wait for the kid to be sick. You can absolutely give that preventively.
Preventative. Okay, great. That's where I was going to. Okay, perfect. So it can be
Absolutely.
used.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the little cone of RNA fragments, like one a week, is enough to promote your own immune system to fight. I think the best approach is something to fight the enemy, like Pao Pereira, and something to support your own immune defense, like Rauwolfia vomitoria. Taken together, I think it is the best combination.
So how many different products do you have at this point? Do you even remember, have you even counted them? Because there are a lot of products on your table.
Well, you were mentioning, for example, the skincare. We have tested a special blend of tea also that my father recognized as very, very anti-cancerous. We have compared that against different other teas, and they are much more effective against the different kind of cancer, including melanoma. So we used the ginkgo extract, which is good to fight angiogenesis and skin fibrosis. We mixed it with the tea that helps fight melanoma, and we got this new line of skincare. So I would say it looks like new products, but it is kind of extension of the same philosophy. And of course, everything is organic and everything.
Now, do your products, how do okay, was there a time that these products were banned in France that you could not get access to them? And if so, how were you able to get access to them?
Well, France is the state, the size of one state. So it was highly political. There was in other surrounding states, in Europe, there was nothing against the name Beljanski. And I got registration somewhere else in another country. And then it's a free movement of goods all around Europe. I'm a lawyer, remember? So,
How wonderful that you did become a lawyer because they needed exactly what you can give to the group. Yeah,
Exactly, and that we have been able to continue to serve the European people who have been, I mean, has been a continuous ongoing demand now for about 50 years.
that's wonderful. I'm surprised they haven't kept fighting you in different areas to do this. So let's talk about your book, Winning the War on Cancer. It's the epic journey towards a natural cure by Sylvie Beljanski that you can get. You can just click on it. It'll take you to Amazon to get the book. So why did you write this book? Why did you feel that it was time in 2018? Because I know that that's when the book was written. Why did you write the book then?
I wanted to share the story of why I did that, why I created this foundation, and everything I learned along the way. And I felt it was so much that I could write a book that would read like a novel, that would be entertaining to read, and would teach a lot of things about cancer and how to address the disease. And that's why I wrote the book.
I think it's wonderful. For those of you who would like to get the book, you can get it. Just click on the link, and you can just go straight there, and it'll take you to the Amazon purchase. If that's where they can get it, right?
It's
Is there
absolutely.
other places that can get it?
It's available on the website of Maison Beljanski, maisonbeljanski.com, on the Beljanski Foundation, also beljanski.org, and on Amazon. I have given my rights to the book to the Beljanski Foundation. So every time you buy a book, the money goes to the foundation.
And what do you need with the foundation? Is there anything that you need as you got a new audience here? What can the foundation use from us?
Well, of course we need funding. We always have new research programs. The programs what we just completed with breast cancer stem cells is absolutely outstanding. We see that those little plant extracts are able to avoid all metastasis. We are now looking to repeat the same experiment on prostate cancer stem cells, because you never know with science until you do the experiment. So if you are interested to know if there is a solution to prostate cancer stem cells, please help us fund this research and help us make that happen. We publish everything. Everything is available on the website of the foundation, so the results are yours also.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Once again, I just want to let you know that the Beljanski Integrative Cancer Conference is going to be April 25th and 27th. I hope to be there. That's my goal. But we'll see. But Beljanski Integrative Conference, it's in Austin, Texas, and it should be. I heard that last year's first year that your inaugural was a huge success, and I can only imagine how much more people you're going to impact. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing.
One last thing, if you cannot make it to Texas, some virtual tickets are available.
You have some you're going to be
virtual tickets. It's going to be streamlined, and then the replays are going to be available.
Very good. Very good. There we go. So if you can send me the link, I'll put it in the description below. That way people can register as well. I just want to help out in any way I can, because my heart is in holistic health. I founded the McDermott Holistic Healing Foundation, and my goal is to help people pay for treatments that are holistic, but right now we have enough to pay for maybe their mortgage or their car. So it takes a lot, and people are donating to the allopathic, the conventional kind of foundations that what are they doing other than running around in tutus and not coming up with solutions. Everybody wants a cure for cancer, but there's powers that are keeping that at bay. So I'm so grateful for your courage and for everything that you're doing to spread the word and get people aware that nature is the solution. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Lily.
And please remember, we'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lily McDermott and Sylvie Beljanski wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day
ever.
Good job. Good job. That was the best ever. I love it. Thank you.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.